Anyway, I mean, what's happening with vaccines in the UK? I mean, are you
Where are we now? We've vaccinated 14 million people.
really?
That's not bad.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, have you
I mean,
guys
yeah.
got vaccinated? I mean, have you personally got vaccinated yet?
No. I'm quite far down the list. If they carry on like this, they reckon they can achieve about 10 million a month.
Okay.
So that means by
6
Christmas,
months.
maybe I'll have something. Yeah.
And I mean, how's it working in terms of who?
Well, it's going
who
to slow
goes
down
first?
because they have to give the second shot.
Yeah.
Oh, so you guys aren't doing the Johnson & Johnson one?
What are we doing? We've got Pfizer. We've got three variations here. Which it started the conversation going, well, which one's better? I want the better one. I don't want to be in a position in next year when I finally get allowed to go back into, I don't know, not that I go to nightclubs that much, but imagine going to a nightclub and they go, well, show us your vaccination card, you can't come in. And they go, not to say Pfizer's the worst one, but Pfizer. Oh, sorry, but you're going to have to join the queue here and wait your turn.
Yes.
And then AstraZeneca comes up and it's like VIP treatment. Here you go. Oh, yes, do come in. Yeah. Do you think we're going to end up with that kind of thing where they start rating the vaccinations against
that
each
you
other?
got, yeah.
Yeah,
and
most
whether
likely,
you had a
most likely.
vaccine or not is the other thing. Yeah.
I think, well, I mean, even those people who are not a believer of the vaccine, I think we're going to see some changes coming in our environment. And a lot of people are probably going to go, well, they're not going to let me on a plane to go on holiday unless I have a vaccine, so therefore I will take it. Not that it's going to, help stop the spread or save their lives. No, it's just it's a means to an end. Tick that box so I can go on holiday.
Fair enough. Yeah. But I mean, did you? I don't know if there's talk of this in the UK, but here certainly in South Africa they're talking about being able to go back to work. That you can't go back into the office space unless you've had the vaccination.
Yeah, because governments can't mandate in a democratic world. The government cannot mandate that everybody is vaccinated unless it's so much worse than we think it is. Because it's not that it's bad, but it's not at the point where everyone will die anyway. So yeah, it could be worse. That's what silver linings. But the government can't mandate that everyone gets it. It's unconstitutional in many places. So maybe it's going to be a social thing, right? You can't. You got to show your card to get in anywhere. If you can't go to the movies, you can't go to restaurants, you can't get on a public transport system.
Yeah.
Employers may mandate it.
Yeah, well,
but then that's when it starts getting tricky because corporate law hasn't caught up with us yet.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, from our sort of environments that we've worked in, the mining environments, safety is a very, very big aspect. And I mean, if you were to put that under the banner of safety, and like if you're working in a particular area, you need to be wearing certain PPE, or you have to have a certain sort of health. Like you can't have, like if you're working with machinery, maybe. If you've got epilepsy, you might not be allowed to work in there unless you're on certain medication or, whatever it is. I'm sure companies, maybe not office staff. I don't know. What do you think, Oleg?
Yeah, I think even office staff, because I mean, obviously, like a lot of our incidents in the mining industry actually took place with the office staff. And unfortunately, a lot of fatalities as well took place like from the people working in the office environment.
Yeah.
So I think take into consideration, I think this time it's going to be both the office employees and obviously the employees in the mine, because I mean, you're not just an employee in the mine, you're most likely also staying in that community, right? Regardless where the mine is, whether it's in Northern Cape or Mpumalanga or Limpopo, you're still staying in those communities, so you can be potential risk factor for those communities.
Well, office staff do interact with the mining staff, right? the planners, the surveyors, geologists, they do interact. The store people on the surface or the back stores still interact with the people that use the good. There's still that interaction. So you can't pretend that they don't mix.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
So,
I think you're
and
right.
then,
I think you're right in terms of like it's definitely. I think the vaccination in the mining industry is going to be rolled out under the banner of safety, and I think that would be the right way to do it.
I mean, hospitals must be doing something similar, right? Or anything in the healthcare industry.
yeah, I can imagine that they could say to them, listen, you can't be working unless you've been vaccinated, or you have to be vaccinated to be able to work. I'm sure. I would imagine.
Well, maybe it's going to be like, in interviews, and you can't really ask somebody their
like health information.
yeah, you can't say, well, what's your sexual
preference or
preferences? Are you a smoker? Those are the kind of things they can't really ask.
Okay.
So maybe they can't ask about the vaccine either. Have you been vaccinated?
Maybe
You have to ask the question in such a way that you're going to get the answer. And maybe it's on a job description or a job advert. We show preference to those who've been vaccinated. It doesn't say they don't take people who are unvaccinated. It just says they have a preference for it.
Yeah. That's. But I mean, take for instance. Well, that's another story. But what I wanted to ask is, do you think that now with the vaccines coming out, I mean, there's this potential where other companies or people that have got money could jump to the front of the queue? Do you think that's happening or could be happening with people with lots of money?
I think it's inevitable in those countries where there isn't sort of free healthcare, or there isn't government subsidies for vaccinations.
Yeah.
I think it's inevitable. It's like the squabbling we're seeing now between countries, going, well, I ordered this stuff 6 months before you actually developed it, so why am I waiting still for the delivery?
Yeah.
I take precedence here over people who've ordered after me.
Yeah.
Yes, but you've ordered like half a world's supply to come to you. That's not exactly fair.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's and it's starting to emerge, right? The vaccine now has monetary value.
Yeah. Well,
Was
exactly.
it Tanzania?
Yeah.
I think, decided we're not going to fork out the money for all this vaccination. We're quite happy with the way we're coping with it, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
And then other countries are going to have excess and start selling it to other countries who need it more because they're going to wait forever, and they'll charge the earth. It carries value, this vaccine.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, the thing is also like, if you want to travel, already before, I mean, even in December, they were saying that if you wanted to move around Europe, that if you weren't vaccinated, you potentially wouldn't be allowed to, go from one country to another. So I would imagine if you're a businessman and you're traveling a lot, or your business depends on you traveling a lot, I would imagine that you would want to get the vaccine as quickly as possible.